Hey everyone, welcome to our live. If you could please go ahead and share this live and share this feed, and we'll get started momentarily. Thanks everyone for joining us at this moment. So, thanks for joining us. We'll just do introductions quick. My name is Chai Mo. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm one of the co executive directors of Freedom Inc. And I'll pass it over to Manka. Hmm. Okay. We still can't hear you, Manka. Well, as manga gets situated and get back on and get the sound working, I just want to welcome everybody and thanks for joining us today. We wanted to make sure that we were coming on live today as the leadership team of Freedom Inc. We really want to make sure that we're on here so that we are also expressing our solidarity with all the students and with all the folks over in Palestine. So we're going to be doing this live both in Hmong and English to make sure that all of our base members also get the same information. So nhớ trong sự đời ở chỗ này sự đời tôi cũng biết nó the nó của dân chạy mùa của she her thế của nhẹ cái này một của hôn nữ nó biết tôi nó biết sự đời tôi thả cho chỉ tới mình ở tại sao nó chủ sĩ nhớ đâu biết giờ chỉ cần nó lo thế thả cho tiền biết cho xe thế tại vì chỉ cho tôi hoàn sai lo cần đó hoặc là tôi tại sao nó biết chỉ bỏ trong cho 这给找找我到我去是那着地的去 Israel，我了到我去天谁知道着就宁 Palestine。一边那这个itu co-executive director 了，itu John 的路共好 Freedom Inc，你有了共被一样高贴，你那边和忙个，一边那这你嘛大家了，共被多，OK，也忙个了了。Go ahead and introduce
Hey
yourself.
y'all, can y'all hear me now? Okay, great. Okay, hey Freedom Family. I'm sorry about the technical issues. Like I was saying, my name is Monka. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I'm one of the co-executive directors at Freedom Inc. Like Chai was just talking about, we're coming to y'all tonight with heavy, heavy hearts to talk about the occupation in Palestine and to talk about the righteous student organizers all across the country and even here at UW-Madison who have been organizing encampments and protests and in solidarity with the Palestinian people, especially in Gaza in the most recent strikes against Rafah. And so we wanted to talk about one, our analysis around the occupation in Palestine, and then also talk about the fact that the police have arrested students as well as professors and other folks who have been a part of the encampment today, and calls to action around that and next steps around that. And so I will be speaking in English, and then Chai is gonna translate for us in Hmong, and that's how we'll do the live stream today. If you haven't already, please like and share. Please let family members know. I know there's a lot of questions, a lot of people asking questions like, well, what does this have to do with us? Like, what is actually going on over there? Why are people intense at UW? And we'll do our best to answer those questions and also to rally support right now, which is greatly needed right now. So if you haven't already, please like and share the live stream, comment to let us know that you're here. And yeah, we'll go ahead and hop right into things. Chai, you want to translate?
Yeah,你别打过海了，我就是了都公杯么呢？等到忙个月了，他们人去在的，但是呢，那个被对起呢，对都乱菜乱呀，被这跟的些，了这种些了都收了，都炸贴炸说， rồi là cho chế cần đỡ chỉ ta linh đỡ là chắc cái chỉ sau先nó nữ要这里theo là别在的但是呢就对面我mua nhất rồi tới chế Israel 这里Palestine 这给我找到我多对面的多你家贴เขา这里被到贴你nhớ你lúc tới chờ này nữa họ chỉ cho nó bây giờ nhớ rồi tới chờ mình cả nó trong này trả là thảm in gì cho con đời nên bao giờ sợ đời mua lúa nông thia nhưng chỉ tao chỉ hôm nào là tới sợ đời cho lúa nông thia biết trở đi khởi tao thia khi đó nên bao hết tiền nhớ rồi bây tới nhớ ní sáng đủ tới sĩ bây này bây nhớ rồi tới chờ mình cả nó nhớ rồi lúc giờ bây nhớ nó này họ trong này trả thia tại sao chỉ tôi luôn sai luôn nó tự trả này lỡ这个了把人今天这个了啥个了这 chicken 了我要你家了别打了你是了，因为你nó là mất xe của nó cho nên chính xây thế học hết bảo hết tiền ni tôi cũng mà nó.
Thank you, Chai. So we're gonna start off with what is going on in Palestine. As many of us have been following in the news in shock and horror and disbelief since early October, this really occupying force has been participating in a bombardment of a specific part of Palestine called Gaza. It is a place that is home to almost 3 million Palestinians. Well, was home to almost 3 million Palestinians. And the Israeli government is aggressively continuing its seizure of their land and occupation of their land. You know, this has been going on for years and years and years. This is just the latest round of aggression against the Palestinian people, and it's some of the worst violence that we've seen on a global scale in a long time. Even as world leaders and nations and thousands of organizations and faith-based organizations, nonprofit social justice organizations across the world have already named this a genocide and a human rights violation. The Israeli government is still moving forward and continuing to do airstrikes, stop food and medicine and water from coming into the country, continuing to bomb hospitals and schools. At Freedom Inc., we value human life, and we also value the right for occupied peoples and colonized peoples to defend themselves. Right now, what's happening is we call it a genocide, and we stand with all of those thousands of organizations and other governments for calling it a genocide and calling it a massive violation of human rights. There is no way that Israel can still claim to be defending itself from terrorists as they're bombing schools and hospitals, as they're telling people to evacuate on certain roads, but then bombing them as people are trying to evacuate, as they are stopping aid from coming into the country from other countries around the world. Um, you can no longer claim that you are defending yourself. And I'll pause here for try to translate.
Giờ thì cho tới mình ở mua nhớ cho thì Palestine tại xin nó bên bỏ tao thìเขาtới mình nó nữ tôi chỉ xí là lần đấy hình rồi nè đó là tại xin nó cho nó chứ Israeli lợi à xí ra xí ra xí địa xí bỏ cho là không cho hay là không chạy ya ta lo rồi cho nên Palestine nó thế tại xin nó lợi chơi chỉ ta linh nữa xứ rồi bây nó chữ hay tiền nó chữ ý là sai cái nó nhện cái chữ tham mua cái phó sĩ cái tham mua nên tôi phải đó là để chờ但是个那个宁咋个宁kia宁到了去bằng tới hôm một lô tới chỉ cần tàu lô tới chơi ở mỗi mình tới mình ở mỗi trận lầu sẽ đợi nhóm chỉ nếu lo hình trở tên ninh thông cái tí nó tới tàu hai tiệt con nó nếu chỉ giao là con nói ít cái là sát từตัวกับตัวแต่ถ้าอีหายninhซื้อlà nó chữ Israeli lấy những chỉ chịu đi nè bây lúc còn học Freedom Inc bây chính hai tiệt sau đó mua cho trái mua cho xe sau đó cho xe mua nông kỳ cái bây chính hai tiệt cho nên trâu nó chỉ sợ trâu nó chỉ có yêu bây mua trái thì thay bây tụ kinh bây mua trái sợ là thì thay bây hay nên đi ăn cầu thiệt nên nó bây sau đó chỉ bảo trong chỉ ta linh được xứ cho nó chỉ Israeli là 但是呢，宁山宁过么山什么山的首山那么久，就宁要走 Palestine 了，了也因波给，但他因起步的起步给班干么班就宁那里了。
Thank you, Chai. So, in the face of this massive violation of human rights, in the face of this genocide, we who believe in justice and freedom have not been silent. All across the country, um, Freedom Inc. and other like minded organizations have been organizing and taking part in actions, marches, rallies, vigils, teach ins, community events to raise awareness around this issue and also to mobilize support for the people of Palestine. Um, Even though a vast majority of Americans believe in an immediate and permanent ceasefire and have been very vocal about that through polling, through actions, like I just shared, our government has still decided to ignore those calls to stop the genocide, to call for an immediate ceasefire. Our current administration and our government has decided to ignore that and, in fact, send Israel the largest aid package that we've ever sent them in recent weeks. Um, as a response to that, our students across the country and across the world have taken collective action to actually stand in solidarity and be in solidarity with the people of Palestine. And they have done that through creating encampments on university grounds. This is in a long tradition of student organizing in times of war and increased militarism. And for that, we are proud of them and we support their efforts.
这更好，我想个菲律宾，天道路更好，上菲律宾，我通知这边干了呢。北京的开车就对面呢，到北京北上这里来哇。但是呢，那居民家3年到领导没把车，就那去 Israeli 个这这给这呢，没中领导度，被对到过后的到说还点个那居民家手机，这3年没问题了。còn ở chú mi cả cái đi chiều kia ấy hay có cho tết cho nó cho sĩ tổ là cho tiền cho họ chơi, 但是只那居民家只弄下来还那居民家真达到3年到查考我也到了被我报了没把人没把人那去 Israeli 就搞着那天。领导就都乱菜罗干的些了，这里去保障就都乱菜罗干的些，但是呢，了这里了都找。thế thì là cha xuống là tôi muốn bự bể cho là cho trẻ cần đó xe tôi muốn đứa trẻ cầu bự tôi muốn nhỏ tôi muốn qua số hu có cho trẻ cần đó có cho trẻ cần đó chắc chắn cho là lụa ở sang nhiều một bát nó chỉ Israeli thêm còn bây giờ nó chỉ tới chăm cái nó có lời ý chỉ cho sang nhiều một bát có cho nó gì là vì bảo tôi để nhớ tới chăm cái nó 一直要在我怎么在我的领导呢，我的中领导都，被这都乱才罗了，一直在说我后背了就这个了。เอลีนอไปเจลีตัวนอไปตัวหายไปตัวชาเชียเทียไปตัวหายต่อชัวเฉินดอไปจะมีตัวมีลวนใส่ลัวโอกันต่อเชียเทียจะเจอนิ่ง Palestinian
Thank you, Chai. So now that these brave students and faculty and community members have taken action in solidarity for Palestine, the response of local law enforcement has been to surround the encampment and arrest them. Today, several students and faculty and community members were arrested at the encampment at UW-Madison. What does that have to do with us and why should we take action? As Black and Southeast Asian folks, especially low to no income Black and Southeast Asian folks, folks who are not, you know, folks who are currently and historically have suffered under occupation and colonization, we understand that increased militarism anywhere is not good for all of us everywhere. We understand as Black people who have been colonized on the continents and throughout the diaspora that more militarized presence and militaries who go unchecked, and militaries who exist, period, but also militaries who go unchecked committing genocide and atrocities can never be a good thing for any of us. We know that the police force here that has been responsible for murdering countless Black folks in the streets, that we end up protesting around every year, we know that they go and get trained in Israel on how to better kill us. Um, and that is a part of a process called militarization, where the police is becoming more and more like the military. And Southeast Asian folks, especially Hmong folks, have know intimately um, what can happen when the U.S. military is going unchecked and when militarized forces are going unchecked, as Hmong folks suffered through the secret war and um, withstood the most frequent and constant bombings and longest period of bombing, continuous bombings ever in history. And we also, like Hmong folks, also understand and know what it means for that to be happening, and the rest of the world doesn't know about it or is ignoring it. That's what happened during the Secret War, also known as the American occupation in Southeast Asia, and also known as the Vietnam War. So, what is happening to the people of Palestine is deeply connected to our struggles to get free as well, to our struggles today to still demand that the United States does not detain and deport Southeast Asian folks and other refugees, to still demand that the United States does not incarcerate Black folks at disproportionate and alarming rates. And at the end of the day, anywhere there's increased militarization, it's separating and destroying families, and it's leading to our death and destruction, and not our thriving and well-being.
Yeah. And before I go into speaking Hmong on this, I just wanted to also say that the police force is that extension of militarism. And we see that during and after war. We're 50 years since, we're coming up to 50 years since the end of the war in Southeast Asia. But that's the end of the war in Southeast Asia for Americans, not for Hmong folks, not for Southeast Asian folks. Our people continue to be militarized after and are still secretly being monitored, and the increased military presence and the genocide still continues to happen to our folks in secret. So our people, Southeast Asian folks, know damn well how much this impacts our communities, and we actually have to pay attention. And we have a responsibility in making sure that we're voicing out and we're also standing in solidarity, and talking about what's happening at this moment. Rồi bây giờ nhìn Asia na, bây từ tôi cho cái chị chọn nó lần lần đấy lại bây từ bao nhiêu tiền thầu bây giờ nhìn tôi cho chị nhất rồi thì tế chờ lo nhưng chỉ muốn听得在美国爆炸了，这起爆的点，蒙着美国，我找多银行，bây giờ lúc đấy chờ我的专班就很差不了，bây giờ您多很差不了了，因只muốn您多爆炸贝里，你说一样高里，但是呢，我去西亚的 Palestine。cho nên tí tôi một nhà là bây chỉ chỉ muốn ninh tư báo cho chỉ muốn ninh tư báo cho cho cái ở lỗ phê đó cho nên tôi nên để là tại sao nó tới tới mình nó nếu lo là chưa nó bây giờ là thì báo cho nó cho nếu chỉ nhớ bây giờ cho nên bây tư thâu cho cái chỉ cho nó thì bây tư báo hết tiền cho cái cho cho nó tiền cho cái mua tu cho nó nữ ya mua tiền nữ ya mua cái phát sinh một nhà đó bây giờ nên là bây giờ chúng tôi tại sao bây lúc còn học vì để mình kia lúc còn học mong thiên du chỉ bây giờ nên ôi bỏ tao hay tiền cho tôi tiếng sử nhất rồi chờ nhất rồi tới chờ tôi là tôi tiếng sử thiên cho tôi cho là nữ nhân chỉ sợ nữ dạng gòn chờ cho chơi cho chơi tôi tiếng sử lấy tôi cho không bay choว่าเพจเราไปตีใช่จ่อ thâu nó mù chè tôi chính sử cho ủa rồi nên nuôi cho làm không bê thiết tua bê thiên thiết tới mình có bê giả mua cho tới mình xử lý bê mua tại sao nó ở chỗ này người thâu cho nên cho bao cho sa tất cả là muốn đầu tư thì mình bên mà ta xin nó ní chỉ sĩ lo nữa cho kiểu cháu cho nó lo nín hôn nó bên đó nín chơi nhiều lo này.
Thank you, Tra. This is also impacting both Black and Southeast Asian communities, but also every single person and family in the broader Madison community, in Wisconsin and the rest of the United States. Like I said, the police forces here in the US get trained over in Israel, where they are showing them techniques on how to become more militarized and more fascist. So, meaning no due process, you get your justice on the streets, however, a police officer decides to met out justice that day. And we know that recent efforts to build military complexes, essentially, that we have identified as cop cities, but that municipalities across the country are calling police training facilities. These efforts mirror what happened in Palestine first. First, they built training facilities, and they had their military out there setting up miniature cities and scenarios on how to find and kill Palestinian families. And now we are having those same efforts being done here as the police is getting more and more military gear, as despite global uprising and protesting, they are still murdering Black people in the streets. They are still wrongfully murdering Black people. We also should care about this, and this is all an all of us issue, because when you're talking about bombing schools and bombing hospitals and that going unchecked, and that being a government that is closely allied with our own government, and this is the same military that's training our police officers, like, we know that we are next, right? Like, that can happen to us. Right now it's them over there, and they're justifying by saying we're trying to defend ourselves from terrorists. What is it going to be tomorrow? Right? It's going to be trying to defend ourselves from the poor folks who are stealing. Everybody can't afford rent. Everyone can't afford transportation. Oh, they're loitering. Oh, they're this. Oh, they're that. So we cannot stop at, oh, that's so sad over there, or that's so sad for those UW students. We have to take collective action. At Freedom Inc., again, like I said, we stand in solidarity with the UW encampment students and faculty and community members, and we want to share with you all the demands that they have and the calls to action that they have for communities.
Yeah. Li mang ka hai ta shino pe tu chính sự nhất chỉ mình cả nào là cái cho kia là nữa cho tới mìnhว่าchỉ sĩ nhất là thì Israel ta shino thế tu cho thì cho kia bên bảo tôi tại ta shino nó bây giờ cho sự nó chỉ có sĩ nhất cho mình我对路去了咯，叫了开都真是。叫了开了我的去开了多杯，这开了几杯是那样。被都保的的 Israel 头稳定的了都一样，哇，不要的路去了，不要的开车的要么开都找我呢。但是这个开着都找那了去开了多着那个之后，着那 Palestine 去打领导，被去打领导是被要求到了他这点地理上的家的是那里上家，今天等待呢这都经时了，那么搞到对那了，这被要保，但是呢要了，努力要被那了，努力要被人呢，我要到这个去找呢，被都保到了，被要求到搞这要被到去世到被路呢也到了，么都也等待。chị lúc nào ư là khi đó nên mình chia tiền tại sao cho tuân sai lúa và cần đó xía nhớ cho về UW-Madison về này là tờ trái tờ số này là sao cái tàu đó chi thế còn lúc chạy cần tờ thế còn nó chịu đó chi thế tiền.
Thank you, Cha. So the demands from the organizers of the UW encampment are as follows. One, UW Madison should divest from occupation, borders, and prisons from Palestine to TEOP. by divesting from all companies on the AFSC list. Number 2, disclose all of UW Foundation's investments. Number 3, cut all ties with Israeli institutions, including the Binational Agricultural Research and Development Fund, Multi-Graduate Exchange Fellowship, and study abroad programs in Israel. Call for an immediate and permanent ceasefire to end the ongoing genocide and an end to the siege on Gaza. Get cops off campus and stop the land grabs and cease expansion in order to house our communities. This is in a direct alignment with, again, the response from our government to this genocide. Instead of in our national institutions like universities, instead of cutting ties with Israel, they've only doubled down on investments and doubled down on aid. So the righteous students and staff and faculty and community members at the UW encampment are in opposition and protest of this, and we need to support them. In addition to these demands of UW, we're also demanding that they be freed. We're demanding that they be freed. And community can call in and demand that they be free as well, can call into the police department and demand that they be free as well, and support folks who have been arrested. Support the Free the 350 bail fund as as they are also the main ones who will also be supporting these students. Support bail fund efforts across the state and across the country as well, because what's happening at the UW is not an isolated incident. This is what happened at Arizona State University just a few weeks ago. This is what has happened at other major Ivy League universities as well across the country, at Columbia. So this is not an isolated incident. This is a coordinated effort to silence voices who are moving in solidarity with Palestine, in the face of this genocide. And so again, thank y'all for joining us, and I'll also have Chai translate the demands as well.
Yeah. So the leader should not tell me what can that pay? Do check and share UW-Madison. Lời tao cho tới tia, thế bây sẽ đợi bây lúc cũng học bên trên đi lên trên nó khác tia. Có ý, yêu chủ chạy tới thế chỉ cho thâu cho cái một khối yêu thiên cả ý thà lý cả ý khó chờ. Yêu chạy tới cho chạy cơn hình nhất là Palestine. Thế yêu chủ chỉ cho mỗi nhiều một thâu cho la lụa của mỗi bên nhất trong được AF SC list đó là còn lúc chơi cần tới UW nước kia tôi sẽ được bảo hệ tiền là cho nhiều chiếc hoặc là cho mù cả tàu ba này là mỗi thế cho nhiều chiếc hoặc là cho mù investor này nhớ được họ tư cả ta khi đó bây tao chỉ ta li còn lúc chơi cần tới nhiều chủ tao chỉ cái ô la lụa cái phong như cái ô họ luyện cho chua lu công hậu cho chua lu la lụa nhất là thì Israeli tới chờ xử lý chỉ cho mua có by National Agriculture Research đó là chỉ cho bố mua có cho nên tí tôi cần đó tới chờ nó là lấy do ship bảo mi ở lúc xí cần đó nè thế tại xin nó có tiếp lão do chủ thế do chỉ cho mua cái ở cho chỉ cho mua cái cho tiệp họ tại xin nó tí xí但họ nhớ cho tí Gaza có tí chiก็ตันทอจะปุรีเตินถ้าเจอกันเตอ UW-Madison เตอเขาที่เจ้าอยู่ชื่อเตอชื่อที่ชอบมูการเชิญสีเลยvì tiềไปรู้ใช่ชอบไปนี่เชิญไปอยู่ชื่อตัวเชิญเทียthiết từ bên cùng hậu bên hai đứa sợ đời tiền mua chơi cái tờ trả nó thế cái trả số nó muốn chống linh đầu từ chờ tôi chỉnh sự cho bùi nhớ cho hậu bên lúc giờ nó tôi chọn cho một câu là sao cái nên qua hù thế hù đó bùi cả lấy giờ cho nên nó bây giờ nên America thì giờ bên mua chai tờ số bên bỏ tờ tiền nhớ rồi đầu lúc chạy cần tờ nhớ thông tin cho America nó lấy tờ số 到都卖够了，你也知道父母个了也抓着你拿什么mua cái tại số thế, bây giờ知道参xử lý cái biểu phản lúc còn học free the three thì này nữ ya yêu bao nhiêu mu cho cho nên uan cho mu câu về tiền lời tại số thế chỉ bỏ cho cái nó chịu uan nói chuyện gian dừng nên đỡ thôi cái sự ba lời sự thế chỉ là hai cái đó ni sự bảo lý nóวันนี้เฉลยเจ้า
Thank you, Trey. So yeah, to close us out again, Freedom Inc. is in solidarity with the people of Palestine, with the people of Gaza, with the people of Rafah. We condemn the Israeli military, and we are not in agreement or alignment with how this administration has been moving around, still sending aid to Israel. We are in support of an immediate and permanent ceasefire, and the ceasing of Israel to colonize Palestine in the first place. This does not mean that this is the end. You'll hear more from us around next steps, and how we're moving to value human life, and to fight against Zionism and against a racist ideology that could have impacted many of us, right? As Zionists were looking for land and where they could create the nation of Israel, right? And so this is something that could have impacted people in Africa, could have impacted folks in South America. And really it's about colonized peoples having to defend themselves against colonizers. And so again, like this won't be the last that you hear from us around this issue. And if you still need more information, we have a lot of posts on our social media about what's going on in Palestine. And we are in solidarity with the students and faculty at the UW encampment. And we're demanding that they be freed immediately. So please like this live stream, share it with your friends and family and within your networks, and support the Free the 350 Bail Fund as they're doing their work. Love and power. Y'all have an amazing rest of your evening.
你比到海边去做些做那居民家的是那这给我不是年木车做的搞着着那呢被啥个了出去但是呢被如果好 filming 被这么多呀我找到的好 Facebook 了也领的这么路上的去啥把它去去木晒着好ที่ไปขณะนี้ชิตาลีนาไปยิงเชื่อละเปลี่ยนสีตรงนี้อยากตันได้นายเตียเสด็จยศสุริจาโอตริจานสีต้มูวันนี้เสด็จเจ้าวันนู้นนี่เสด็จของไปเที่ย